Hi there, this is Josh with RMS Roller Grinder, and I'm with our R&D department.
Hi, I'm Blake Santis with RMS Roller Grinder, and I'm in sales at RMS.
Today, Blake and I are going to be comparing a few things between roller mills, VersaMills, and hammer mills. Blake, would you mind telling us the difference between these mills?
Yeah, absolutely. So typically when you think about a hammer mill, it's really just hammers that swing around on a shaft that are pulverizing or hammering down particle sizes till they get small enough to be able to pass through screens. And those screens can be changed out to different sizes and stuff like that, as well as the speed of the hammers can be changed to do that. In a roller mill, the basics of a roller mill is two cylindrical rolls that roll into each other, and they have corrugations on them, and that's what's breaking down the particles. And depending on how fine you're looking to grind them, you can add more sets of rolls to grind it down finer. And VersaMill is very much the same way as a standard roller mill. The only difference is the fact that it's a direct drive roller mill. So there's a few more variables that we can manipulate in order to change and control the particle sizes. So obviously we talked about the corrugations, the gap settings, but also on the VersaMill is the roll speeds and differentials that ultimately allow you kind of to control the particle size that's coming out of the machine.
Great. So each of these machines has their advantages in certain markets, but one thing I want to specifically touch on is energy. How do these machines compare to each other in form of energy consumption?
That's a great question. So typically in a lot of the applications that we're working in, when you compare like a roller mill, a standard roller mill to a hammer mill, typically you see anywhere from a 20 to 30% more energy efficient machine using a roller mill than a hammer mill. And when we've done some testing and some third-party studies, when we compare a VersaMill to a standard roller mill, you can see anywhere from 20 to 30% more energy savings on that as well. So if you compare the VersaMill to a hammer mill, again, in some applications, it could be anywhere from 40 to 50% more energy efficient.
So when you're looking at these different types of mills, how do you go about recommending one over the other?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I always start with, what's the end goal in mind? Like what particle size, sieve distribution, what's the product look like? And so what we often will do is we'll bring material into our test lab. We'll run it through a standard roller mill. We can run it through a VersaMill, and we can even be able to compare it to a hammer mill to ultimately figure out, well, what is the right machine for the right application, right? And so if it means that it's a standard roller mill will work great for it because you only need a couple variables to change, that's perfect. If it means that you have maybe some inconsistencies of the products coming in, you need some more variables to change, maybe a VersaMill is a better tool for the job. We can even compare that to a hammer mill in regards to, well, what ultimately is going to give the customer the right particle size or sieve distribution for their particular product that they're trying to grind down.
So which one of these machines would give you the most control over the variables within your product?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what I would say, and this is my professional opinion, I would say that the VersaMill is the machine that has the most variables that you can change. Again, you're looking at, you can change the type of corrugation that you're using, the profile of it. You can change the number of sets of rolls. You can change the gap position. You can change the roll speeds, and you can change the differentials. When you compare a VersaMill to either a roller mill or a hammer mill, typically a roller mill or hammer mill, you can only change 2, maybe 3 variables. So you're limited on some of the control that you can have. Again, typically it's either on a roller mill, you can change the corrugation and the gap position, and the speeds are typically locked in because they're belted. In a hammer mill, you can change the screen sizes, maybe the tip speed, and maybe the profile of the hammers themselves. But again, that's fairly limited. Whereas when you go back to a VersaMill, you can make all those changes on the fly.
Very good. Great information, Blake. At RMS, we have a full testing facility. And if you want to do feasibility testing on your products to see if it's the right application for you, we'd love to do some testing. Feel free to reach out to one of our team members or visit our website, and we can get you connected with the right people. Thanks.
Thank you.